Hey there, have you ever wondered why people all around you are accomplishing their career goals when they're not nearly as awesome as you are, obviously, but you're not achieving your career goals? Well, in today's video, we're going to talk about how you really do set some really strong career goals and how you hold yourself accountable. My name is Adjoa Dodzi, and you are watching an episode from adjoadodzi.com. I didn't realize how few people set realistic career goals until I was actually having a conversation with a colleague of mine. I talked to her about the career goals that I was setting for myself and that I had been setting for myself for years. And she said, you realize that not a lot of people do what you do, right, Adjoa? And I didn't really realize that a lot of people don't do what I naturally just did. Let's talk about career goals today and how you can make them more attainable for yourself. So the first thing I want to talk about is making sure that you set very clear goals. So one of the things I hear people tell me all the time is, oh, next year I want a job where I lead people. That's not a clear goal. That is way too vague. A clearer goal could be, next year, I want to be a finance manager leading at least a team that includes 2 people for a Fortune 500 company in a certain geography by the end of the year, by December the 31st. The reason why you want to have something very specific is because you need a way to track it. But it's not just good enough to have a specific goal. You need to have specific actions that you're going to have that accompany that goal. And target to see, where are my gaps? What do I need to do? What actions do I need to take to make sure that I hit that specific goal? When it comes to setting these goals, one more point that I want to make before we transition on is the time frame of the goal. So for next year, you may want to set just a 1-year goal. But like myself and probably many others, we have longer term goals, right? We have short term goals and we have long term goals. If you're in the age bracket that's about 27 or younger, I think setting career goals that are more 5 to 7 years out are very helpful. The reason is you're still early enough in your career that you're figuring things out, learning the ropes, and annual goals are still important, but it's important to have a farther reaching goal to aspire to. Now, if you're above the age of 27, then I would encourage you to look at about 3 years out. So that helps you stay focused, it helps you stay on track, it helps you aspire to something, and therefore allows you to have more clarity around the goals that you're setting up for yourself so that you can reach your 3-year goal as well. Life is beyond busy, okay? And it's important that we hold ourselves accountable just like we hold other people accountable around us. Now, one of the ways that we can hold ourselves accountable, and this is a strategy and a tool and a tactic that I really love, is if-then statements. It's a way of training yourself that when a certain situation or environment occurs, then you will take a specific action. So if you're trying to set up a goal to become a better leader, hopefully it's more specific than that, like we talked about in the first section, but becoming a better leader with higher emotional intelligence. So that might mean that you need to have some training on emotional intelligence and training on how to lead in an environment that promotes emotional intelligence. But if you're telling yourself, well, if a training occurs on a weekend in Q2, I'm gonna take it, then you need to go look for trainings that occur on weekends in Q2 so then you can take it. Just one added point, if-then statements are super effective. In fact, if-then statements usually result in us actually blocking it on our calendar, and simply by blocking it on your calendar, you increase your chances of actually accomplishing that goal or that task by 300%. I know, I could hardly believe it myself. Next thing I want to talk about is for the perfectionists. Tell perfection, bye-bye. Perfection gets in the way of progress. It really does. I mean, I love Sheryl Sandberg's very famous quote now that done is better than perfect. It's so true, because getting into this whole sphere of perfection keeps us from actually accomplishing the goal. It's important to take the steps to get there. So if you find that you're doing your if-then statements, but maybe you fall off a couple of times, or your goal is kind of specific, but maybe it's not so super duper specific, that doesn't mean that the goal is cracked, and that doesn't mean that you're failing. Just keep going, keep doing it, keep making progress. And that is actually really key in terms of accomplishing the goal, the actual action, because it's always easy for us to stop. It's not so easy for us to keep going. So always keep going. Progress is better than perfection. The last one is a little bit more mental. I want you to change how you talk to yourself. A lot of times when we talk to ourselves about a goal, we say, I will not blah, blah, blah. I will no longer procrastinate. Never, ever, ever. I will not do that. But if I tell you that you won't do something, or I tell you to think about not doing something. So if I go, hey, do this task, but don't even think about failing. Don't even let failure enter your mind. What enters your mind? Failure, right? The reason I'm talking about this is because I want you to start talking to yourself differently. I want you to start talking to yourself about what you will do versus what you won't do. And when you change the conversation in your own head so that it's more focused on a positive, progressive outcome, what you will do, you actually put much less weight and emphasis on the thing that you're actually trying to change. So again, it makes your brain really more conscious around the successful outcome versus the possibility of an unfavorable outcome. So hopefully you found this video helpful, and if so, I would love it if you would share this with everyone you know, especially those who you think could use a little bit of help with their goal setting, which is pretty much everybody. And while you're busy sharing this, I encourage you to head over to the site addyouradadsy.com, because underneath this video is a comment section, and I want to hear from you. I want to hear about your goal setting techniques and which one is your fave so that you can implement it in the new year. And I also want to hear about your long-term goals. I love hearing about my viewers' goals, and I love, more importantly, when you guys achieve them. So let me be a part of that journey with you. I'll be rooting for you the whole way. The corporate world needs that unique gift that only you bring. So go out into the world today and act with conviction, be courageous, and live joyfully every single day. Thank you so much for stopping by, and I cannot wait to see you again at next week's episode.